Who is like my Jesus? Who is like my God? Who is like my Maker? Who is like my God? God is what He say He is. God will do what He say He will do. God is God all the time. No one is like Him. Who is like my Savior? Who is like my Jesus? Who is like my Jesus in this world? Who is like my Jesus? Who is like my Savior? Who is like my Jesus in this world? And of course, it's a critical moment. Wandering in the wilderness, somebody need to guide the way. Somebody need to bear the torchlight. The most important thing is no matter how long we wander in this wilderness, we must get home. A lot of lies have been told in time past, and efforts are being made to rectify the errors of our ways in time past, and there are people working very hard to complicate even the whole process. But in the midst of all this, children of light must stand out. Children of light must stand for the truth. Even when it is unpopular to speak against the perpetrators of this heinous crime against our people. I am George ONYIBE, and of course I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some of you good night, depending on your time zone. It is imperative that in a time like this, we review certain issues as they affect us as a people. It is going to be a very quick one, though a lot of things to discuss, but I will see how fast I can be able to explain to you what I have in mind. I want to address a topic I titled, Biafra is Dead and Buried. My opinion and the way forward. The issue Biafra is dead and buried. I consider it as a metaphorical statement. But there is need for our people to understand my personal opinion. This will help you create your personal opinion. This will help to guide what the next generation will do after now. This will have everybody in Nigeria to begin to reason properly. And of course, from every ethnic nationality, no matter how small you are, as far as you exist, independently before the creation of Nigeria, there is need for you to rise up to your responsibility. There is need for you to be the author of your destiny. There is need for you to decide the kind of life you will live. It's just once we pass through this stage, we may never walk this earth again. And if we have the privilege of walking it today, and when we have gone to the next dimension, if we had the privilege of looking back and see what we have done here, I think being satisfied should not be something too much to ask for. Now, citing the very comment or press communique issued by one of the presidential candidates, Peter Obi, to the Arise television, he said, Biafra is dead and buried 52 years ago. I've not reacted to that very statement because there is more beneath that the eye can see. Biafra is dead and buried 52 years ago. Gregory Peter Obi is from Anambra State. He was once a governor of Anambra State. His father has been on the front line of Anambra State politics before his very time. I have had the privilege of being with him one-on-one, discussing the issue of Biafra. I've always known his stance. I know the role he played during the time of Bim Mazob. But among all these things, let me make it clear, I have nothing against that man. His level of humility humbles me, and maybe that is why I have not been able to fault him. He has a lot of issues he needs to answer his people. But then, let's talk about the one we know. I understand the last meeting I had with Peter Obi one-on-one, I was with Barrister Loy Jimako of Nnamdi Kanu. It was in Enugu. Let me leave it at that. His stand and his position regarding Biafra issue is clear. He owns the Hero beer, referred to as Biafra beer. He has projected the image of Biafra more than Nnamdi Kanu and his agitators on a neutral political front. But he came out on the social media, granted the press interview, and told you that Biafra is dead and buried 52 years ago. Now, let's get it right. Like I have told you, with the best of my knowledge, Gregory Peter Obi is a very principled man. He's a very humble man. And what I know about him is not a pretender. Maybe there are skeletons in the cupboard. We all have us. His personality is not what is in question here, and it's not of any concern to me as far as this broadcast is concerned. But then, coming from a son of Igbo land telling you Biafra is dead and buried, maybe it should call for us to begin to castigate him, attack him, dehumanize him, character assassinate him, call him all manner of names. But this time I choose to look at it from that angle. Because we have been doing this for a very long time. Character assassinating everybody, attacking everybody, saying whatever we want just to make sure we'll sell a product that is marketed by a household company. Registered before in UK, and then the head office is in Afari Beku, and then we are deceiving ourselves. And now this brought my mind back to the issue of Biafra being dead and buried. This is the third time it is making a headway on the social media platform, Nigerian per se, Biafra dead and buried. I remember categorically that this statement from Peter Obi, he was on Arise TV, the 10th of January, 2023. I remembered that also Olusegun Obasanjo made a similar statement when he was the president of Nigeria. He made a similar statement that Biafra is dead and buried. And that statement from Obasanjo was on the November 30, 2015. 30th of November in 2015. He issued a press communique to Vanguard newspaper. It's still there. And then I remember that in January 10, or rather, not January 10, Obasanjo issued press communique. That should be January 16, 2016. Sorry, Obasanjo was January 16, 2016. He issued a press communique to Vanguard newspaper telling them that Biafra is dead and buried. And then I remember Richard Akinjide, who is one of the permanent board of trustee of PDP currently. He was is a lawyer, a member of the cabinet of Tafawa Balewa government, a Yoruba man. He also made a similar statement, which is 30th of November 30th in 2015. And so let's say Akinjide was the first to make that statement, and then repeated by Olusegun Obasanjo, and then before Peter Obi, the presidential candidate. Biafra is dead and buried. And now, when you look at it from that way, it was easy for us to attack Obasanjo for making that statement. But of course, Richard Akinjide, a legal practitioner, his son, I think he is knowledgeable enough. I think Obasanjo knows fully well that in real terms, if that word is not used metaphorically, that Biafra is not dead, Biafra is not buried, and everything they are saying is a metaphor. And then Peter Obi, with his extensive knowledge, everything he knows, comes forward and tell you Biafra is dead and buried. Now let's look at one or two things there. Biafra dead and buried. I think it's important to understand. What does it mean to be dead? When they say something is dead, the thing is inactive. It does not perform any longer. It's dysfunctional. Simple word, inactive. And then when they say something is buried, it simply means it is hidden on the ground. It is hidden from the sight. You bury something on the ground. So there is something to be buried. If Biafra is dead, there is something to be buried. They buried the dead Biafra. They buried the inactive Biafra. I need you to begin to reason properly. Let's be able to draw this message home. Biafra is dead and buried. And now this is my opinion. And we need to find a way forward. Now, I begin to look at it as a metaphorical statement because I know people have died because of Biafra. You can't wipe out this history. You cannot hide it. Honestly, people have died because of Biafra, millions of people. And then the Biafra restoration was criminalized. Biafra restoration was sold by Nnamdi Kanu and his family. Biafra restoration has turned to, I don't know, a lot of things are happening. And so it's not possible to say Biafra is dead and buried. But like I said, metaphorically, they are trying to pass a message to you. And what is that message? Let us try to look at them closely. Many people today are disassociating themselves from Biafra agitation. So many people, they are trying to disassociate themselves from Biafra agitation. Why? Because a lot of atrocity have been committed. Unimaginable atrocity have been committed because of Biafra. In those days, when people come out and talk about Biafra, you have fun, everybody all over you, until something went wrong. Biafra become a criminal enterprise. Biafra become a kidnapper group. Biafra become a family business. Biafra become ritualists, human organ harvesters, fundraisers, deceivers. Let's analyze it. Now the Kanu action today, how will you justify it? He's supposed to be arrested by Nigerian security outfit, DSS. He's supposed to be going through the court process to determine his fate and his action regarding what is supposed to be his right that he's fighting for. Have you heard Nnamdi Kanu mention Biafra for the past 3 months now, or 5 months? Let's look at 5 months. Have you heard Nnamdi Kanu mention Biafra? And you are telling me Biafra is not dead? Biafra is not buried? The question is, why is Nnamdi Kanu not talking about Biafra again? On the 10th of this month, the very day P2B issued a press communique and told you that Biafra is dead and buried on Arise TV, Nnamdi Kanu junior brother, or only God know how they relate, Kanu Takano, took another IPOB propaganda media warrior to court in Germany. Are you telling me Biafra is not dead and buried? As you are speaking today, Nnamdi Kanu said he'd rather die than to betray Biafra. And today he's busy lying. He has a heartburn problem. He has a stomach transplant. He has a brain. Are you telling me Biafra is not dead? When you have one dwarf somewhere in Finland, they say his name is Simeon Ekpa, and he's telling you how many days Biafra is going to come. And then you are here in Biafra land, somebody is telling you Biafra is going to come in 110 days, 5 days. So because they know their expectation, what is going to happen after presidential election, so that they can now maneuver and say, yes, Biafra have come. If you cannot use EdSARS to destabilize Nigeria, why do you think you can use Peter Obi's position as Igbo man contesting for Nigerian president to destabilize Nigeria? You see, when they say Biafra is dead and buried, because they know these people are only calling for fundraising. They are not fighting for Biafra. And so when somebody says he's fighting for something he's not really fighting for, is that thing not dead and buried? For those of you who are fighting for Biafra, oh, Biafra or death, Biafra or death, my brother, don't die. They are telling you we must get Biafra, we are almost there. My brother, they are lying. I need you to get the truth there. After the Biafra-Nigerian war, Chinua Achebe in his book wrote, there was a country. And I've been trying to read the mindset behind that statement. There was a country. If you know the revelation there, it will shock you. It's the same way people come and tell you Biafra is dead and is buried. He told you Biafra is simply telling you Biafra is no longer active, and Biafra have been hidden from the sight of the people. And now that is where I want to dwell on this broadcast. It's no longer active. And its existence, what it truly represents, has been hidden from the sight of the people. So if you have been reading other interpretation to Biafra is dead and buried, get sense now and see how it can help you to progress in your life. Richard Akinjide, a permanent member of the board of trustees, current PDP platform as you see it today. He's a son. I think he knows what he's saying metaphorically. And then Olusegun Obasanjo, he may not have gone to Harvard University, but I know they gave him Harara degree somewhere, to augment his stature. It's okay. But it's not, he may not go to Harvard University, but he has sense. Somebody who is among the cabal ruling Nigeria for how many years? You think he don't have sense? And then we'll talk about Peter Obi. Some people say he's simple, he's stingy and the rest of it, but I see it as a meticulous individual, very simple. So these three people who told you Biafra is dead and buried, do you think they were drunk? They are trying to make you see something that you have not seen. It's been how many days now? 2 days. I have been giving a deep thought to this issue. I have been asking questions from those who I felt they know better than me and more sincere than me. And lo and behold, I have begun to see the truth. So in this very broadcast, I don't care how long it's going to take, but I will try to bring you closer to the truth. Because when I raised the issue of 7 dimension, I moved back and observed what Nnamdi Kanu and his followers are going to do before I move. And it's almost time for us to move ahead. Now, when they say Biafra is dead and buried, they are telling you that it's no longer active. And the remaining substance left of it is hidden from the sight. Biafra is dead. It's no longer active. Those of you agitating for Biafra, you will know it's no longer active. Listen to those who are talking about Biafra today. Only one man is telling you the day that Biafra will come. And he lies, he deceives you. Biafra is going to come in February. It will never come. Now let's look at first of all how Biafra died. Number 1. The Biafra that was between 1967 and 1970 was minded by Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. He had a lot of comrades from the Midwestern region, and of course he was in control of the Eastern region. And then I would say from personal opinion that Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu did not go through due process. He used his position as the general overseer of the eastern region and declared the cessation of Biafra nation. This made other ethnic nationality within the eastern region to be threatened. They were not duly consulted. They don't know what happened. And then Nigeria, under the umbrella of Gowon or leadership of Gowon, we are able to tell those people more than 70% or 60% of the eastern region then that Igbo want to dominate you and take over your land. That is why they want Biafra. Because the due process was not perfected, what happened? They bought it. Now, your brothers in the south who were part of the eastern region have gotten their freedom already. Nigerian told them, we are going to free you from the Igbo man. Because the Igbo man want to dominate you. But this is not the truth. But the Igbo man refused to apply his heart to reasoning. The same way we are calling Nnamdi Kanu. He's jumping, Biafra, Biafra, Biafra. He will run for Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu will run for Biafra. And so they gave freedom, independent, to the southeast. I mean, some ethnic nationality that are not Igbo in the southeast. That is how they created south. And then they moved to midwestern states. Those Igbo there, they gave them independence. Today, Igbo nation is increasing. Igbo nation is dividing. Igbo nation is moving towards different direction. And if we don't stand up today to bring them back, you are not ready for what is coming. Some are clamoring for Anyoma nation. Some are clamoring for Orashi nation. Some are clamoring for Ikwere nation. Some are clamoring for Akampa and the rest of them scattered different locations. In fact, the ones in Cross River State don't know where they belong to. The Igbos in Benue don't know where they belong to. The Igbos in Bayelsa don't know where they belong to. Maybe only Anyoma, Igbos of Ohaneze Igbo, and then Igbos of Orashi. These are the only people that are gradually getting themselves back. But that is not the area I'm focusing. So these people have independence already. They are telling you that Biafra is dead because anytime you come up, you say, oh, give us Biafra, Ijo is Biafra, Ogodomigodo is Biafra, Akadamikada is Biafra. They are just looking at you. That idea of Biafra is gone. If he must come again, you must review it. Because as far as they are concerned, they have been freed from the hand of the Igbo man. That is the right picture. That is why that's betrayal or whatever. That was how he went into market. And so when Peter Obi or any other person tell you Biafra is dead, they are telling you what Ojukwu did is over. And then when they say he's buried, they are trying to tell you whatever that will give you this Biafra, the true knowledge and process to get this Biafra is buried, is hidden. You are not seeing it. Maybe you begin to understand when they tell you Biafra is dead and buried. The true process to give you Biafra is hidden. That is why when Agent Nnamdi Kanu was sent to destroy every platform for self-determination within this region, he needed to rally around his people, rob his people, gather money, and then disappear. He will come back and we will call him Ohamadike one of Igbo. We will call him Igwe Kana one of Igbo, and maybe other titles. Are they not criminals like Nnamdi Kanu living in affluence and still taking praise from you, and you are honoring them, knowing fully well what they have done? Are there no noble men and women who have bled to defend Igbo land? Today they are living in abject poverty, and then the Igbos are looking at them as if they are stupid. They are stupid for standing in the gap to fight for you. But you cannot stop good from the land. The same way you will not stop evil from coming, you cannot stop good people from existing. Now I want you to understand when they say Biafra is dead and buried. What is buried? What is dead is that the relationship, the union that will give you this Biafra with glamour for is gone. It's dead. It's not active. Watch at this moment. The moment Nnamdi Kanu knew is dead, He created Eastern security. And now the Kanu is not in the position to create Eastern security. He's supposed to create Biafran security. But can you reason it? So maybe when I come here this afternoon, I'll tell you, Peter Obi is a saboteur. We cannot vote for him. Let's disassociate from him. Am I telling you he probably going to win? And am I telling you if eventually he wins, that will bring an end to the subjugation, marginalization, and the rest of it? Emasculation? No. I'm trying to help us. Let us keep the records to it and then fall in tune with nature. And then God himself will fight for us. So at that moment, Biafra is dead. He's supposed to say, now we are creating Biafra defendants. Biafran Defense Network. Does he have the guts to say that? He can't. Because if he try, other people will tell him, you can't give us security. Who did you consult? Who did you tell? How will you do that? Now, what did he do? He now further killed Biafra by telling you that it is Eastern Security Network, which is AKA unknown gunmen. What are they doing now? Now, none of you have been proud or bold enough to come out and call a spade a spade. The more you delay and you think you are pampering it to correct issue, the more you are killing Igbo youth. The more you are killing Igbo youth. And now, the issue of being buried. Now the Kanu gathered people. And you see, simple men like me, we came out. We said, this man is saying the truth. He said so many truths. Because I don't see why you can look at the God in heaven and you call him Chuku. And you tell me you are not Igbo. He said a lot of truth. And now, this is not to hate anybody. This is to put our family in order. When the prophet of God was told that he was going to die, King Josiah, he went and prayed to God. The prophet said, go and put your house in order, because you will surely die. When we have the opportunity to put our house in order, instead of Nnamdi Kanu to do that, that is the secret that will give you Biafra. Biafra can be restructured. Biafra can be regional autonomy. Biafra can be Abuli Accord. Biafra can be resource control. Biafra can be Bill of Rights. Biafra can be anything. But then you need to go and put your house in order. That truth was hidden. So when they tell you Biafra is dead and buried, they are telling you what you are doing is rubbish and is bunker. It's not taking you anywhere. It's going to kill all of you. That's what B2B is trying to tell you. So the moment knowledgeable people begin to emerge, they found the mistakes, the inability, the shortcoming of the criminal from Afari Beku by the name Nnamdi Kanu. And they started with sincerity. They wanted to guide him. I know many of them. They wanted to guide him. And they said to him, Nnamdi Kanu, you should do like this. Nnamdi Kanu, you should do like that. Nnamdi Kanu, you should do like this. But then Nnamdi Kanu pay masters. They will not take it lightly with Nnamdi Kanu because he's breaching the contract already. What did Nnamdi Kanu do? He spent time and blackmailed all of them. Nnamdi Kanu called all of them criminal. Chase out all the reasonable people that would have helped restore Biafra. And then he went to hire the criminals you are seeing today who are on social media, people like China Sanworu, people like Benjamin Madubugu, people like Simeon Ekpa, look at Iru Atoro, look at Niger or Biafra Peking, look at all these criminals you are seeing in Biafra agitation. Did you know them before? Now they can remove the people who could see. That is when P2B tell you Biafra is buried. The truth that will give you Biafra, it has been buried. Now they cannot want to keep the truth remaining buried. No, you can imagine a Biafra that is supposed to be our own Biafra. Now the Kanu wife come out and tell you that Simeon Ekpa brain is behind. Don't you think that is ludicrous how this man they speak this English? Don't you think this is madness? Let us assume Ojukwu wife. Do you even know Ojukwu wife? Let's forget about Bianca. Have you heard about Ojukwu wife? And then even Bianca. Have you heard Bianca coming to tell you how Biafra should be? Or is she not a member of ABGA? One useless idiot from Afari. His wife is coming to preach for us inside our Biafra. And you cannot see that the truth about Biafra is buried. And what did she tell you? Simeon Ekpa, his brain is behind. He had been moved to the front, so he can't reason. That is what they did to all of you. When Peter Obi saw that bingos, Nnamdi Kanu mugus, your brain have been shifted from the back to the front, he knew the truth had been buried. Buried in front of your brain. According to Nnamdi wife, you cannot reason anymore. So Nnamdi Kanu is trying, he's working hard. Eventually, if you allow him, he will succeed. He's trying to bury the truth. Why do you think they lie? They lie too much. All the time, lie. Biafra is coming. United. Now, imagine how many years they were telling you. United Nations, we went to submit United Nations. We went to United Arab. We submitted it. Obama is with all. Donald Trump have endorsed it. Putin is going to come to destroy them. And every other nonsense. They were trying to hide the truth from you. The truth that will restore Biafra, if it is buried, that is when Akinjide told you it is buried. That is when Obasanjo, I think Obasanjo is sincere that statement. That is when he told you it is buried. And Peter Obi is coming to affirm it.